Well, technology is also being used to identify some of the world's trouble spots as soon as the trouble starts. Planet is a company keeping a close eye on Earth from a network of satellites around the globe. Co-founder Will Marshall is a former NASA scientist who saw the need for real-time images of Earth. CGTN's Terrett spoke with Marshall at the recent Bloomberg Global Business Forum about how the technology could help stave off environmental and humanitarian disasters.
We set ourselves the mission of imaging the whole Earth every day. Now, people often think when they look at Google Maps or Bing Maps and look at the satellite layer that it's up to date. Actually, it's typically many years old. And so if you look at your house, it might not have the extension or the right car out front or what have you. It's partly because that imagery is quite static. And what we wanted to do is image the whole Earth every day to see changes, to track deforestation, to track the ice caps, to track illegal fishing, to help us to take care of the planet. There's a wide variety of commercial, as well as humanitarian, as well as governmental uses of this data. So commercial ones like improving crop yields in farmers' fields, so in agriculture, improving forest management, improving insurance claim management. Government use cases range from disaster response through to border security and coast guards, and the humanitarian ones range from tracking deforestation to the ice caps and so on.
And you have announced at the Bloomberg Global Business Forum a new venture in which you're moving forward in just this area.
Exactly. We announced this morning a partnership between the state of California, Bloomberg Philanthropies, who are co-hosts of this conference, and Planet, to work together on data that will enable us to track certain of the most key things that are happening right now. Three things in particular: the forest fires, the on-off state of all the coal power plants all around the world, tracking them, and then generally some research into how we would more comprehensively manage the carbon economy and track the carbon economy.
Okay, well, let me put an example to you, if I may. In Indonesia every year, right in the center of that vast country, there are forest fires, and the Indonesian government says, oh, we don't know, we can't track them, we don't know where they are, we don't know how to, it's very difficult for us. How does your technology potentially deal with that?
Absolutely, good question. I mean, we can identify where there's a fire every time within a day or two of where it is and help people to respond. In rural regions, I mean, if you have a fire in an urban setting, that's not going to be helpful, but in rural regions, that's very helpful indeed. And we can help, importantly, hold people accountable. We've got a lot of work in Brazil right now in the Amazon, and millions of dollars worth of fines have been levied using our data in a court of law where it says you've allowed deforestation to happen on your land. Right. And we can see it using this imagery.
So what is the future for this technology? Because it's clearly fully fledged now, but where might it go in the future?
Well, I think the future is adding AI to the technology, because as we add AI, we enable ourselves to... Basically, satellite imagery has been the province of large enterprise, Google or the US government or big ag companies. But when you add artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies, you can enable it to be accessible to more people. More people could just, what we hope to do is, I ultimately talk about a concept called queryable Earth, where you can just type in a question like, how many trees are there in the Amazon? Or just give me the location of the ones that are locked down between today and yesterday. Right. Or tell me how many houses there are in India. Give me a plot of that versus time. Or tell me the number of ships in all the world's ports. And it should just be able to spit you out an answer, because what we're doing in each image is recognizing all the objects and then creating a database of what's there, so we can just query that database.
Is there a danger, just to round this off, that NASA could come along and steal your clothes, your old employer?
Come and steal our what?
Steal your business.
Oh, well, I mean, look, I don't think of it as stealing at all. We work very collaboratively with NASA. We actually have a big contract with NASA to help them to track key climate variables, and we're happy to do so. And the NASA missions that are done, like Landsat and other climate missions, are fantastic cornerstones of how the remote sensing sector work. And so it's very collaborative, it's not competitive. But what I would say is that, I mean, those satellites have been, for the last 40 years, helping us to understand what's going on the planet, to be aware. But what we are trying to do is one step beyond that, which is to get us to action. So we're here in New York, and the UN has set these ambitious targets, these 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And we've worked out that from space we can help track about 13 of those from orbit and help provide a uniform base to how are we doing. And this is really important because the UN Environment Programme came out with a report last week stating, which was an assessment of how we're doing against all the sustainability-related goals a few years into those targets being set. And it found that 23% we are on track or ahead, 9% we are clearly behind, and a whopping 68% we don't even know what the answer is.
And that's where you come in.
And that's where we come in, because our data can help us to take the measurement that is necessary. Of course, it's not just about taking the data. It's then, hopefully, we give it into the hands of the decision makers to then make smarter decisions to help take care of our beautiful Earth.